Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Cypher from TCG, and we are back with how to make a better Emperor deck. And today will actually be my Skirmish winning deck. I actually just won a Skirmish today with this build of the Emperor. It's actually my first ever event that I've won. It's my first ever LL points. And while it wasn't the biggest event, I do think there were some very good players there. And I definitely do think that I had to fight for the win, especially on a hero that I've only recently picked up. When it came to Blitz, I obviously played mostly Kano. I played Axador for one skirmish, last skirmish format. But Emperor was never a deck that I've touched. The only reason I ever touched the Emperor, because one, obviously Kano got banned, and then shout out to my boy Nathaniel Schneider, aka Judge Dredge, you guys have seen him, is he absolutely juiced me in some Blitz games whenever I was thinking I was going to be playing Azalea. He absolutely juiced me with the Emperor, and not only did he have so much fun with the Emperor, which is my main selling point, is just playing Wizards fun. He was just able to do some very powerful stuff that I just didn't think he could do. Because you look at this mono red deck, and you're like, well, surely all of his turns are super clunky. That is not the case. You're just able to do some powerful stuff. It's kind of crazy. But let's go and get into the deck. So obviously starting off with the equipment. This is the standard equipment I brought into most matchups. I think this is applicable to most matchups. Obviously, Rage Forward Bracers at the arm piece. Just a comfortable 3 block to keep your life total high. Chrono Province. Like the big thing with this actually is like while you do get the split block with the Arcanite Skullcap, which just comes up in some matchups, this does allow me on some terms where I might just have an IP penalty, or I have a card that I don't really want. It could have allowed me to be able to filter that card away and get like a better card. Obviously, really good into other CNC decks, so big points there. Flameskull Furnace is because I don't literally know there's nothing else to run. I'll be honest, you're only ever playing this. It's the only way you can actually play the Emperor. Storm Striders, you're a wizard. You're never not going to play Storm Striders. The only other option would be exactly Snapdragon Scalers, but that requires you to have a very, very specific build that can take advantage of Snapdragon throws. Not that like nothing is like 0 or 1. It's just you're going to be building the deck in a very, very different style. And obviously Waning Moon as the only real weapon that he can play. Going to the main deck, obviously we have 40 cards. We have a few in the sideboard. Unironically enough, I only had 4 sideboard cards. So I don't have technically a completed deck. Start off with 2 Aether Dart. Aether Dart is just a 0 for 3. Obviously just very, very solid. You play this on a 0 card hand. On your combo turn, this isn't fantastic because you're either only doing 7 or 8 if you're running Metacarpus node. But into your AB0 matchups, this card absolutely is a threat. Aether Flare, a card for us to try to break the mirror. This came as a last minute inclusion literally Thursday, and as of recording this, it is Saturday, the day of the skirmish. The only reason this actually came into the deck initially is because I was actually missing some cards. So I wanted just to play the Emperor that day, and I was just like, let me just find some reds I can put in the deck. And I had my Kano deck, and I was like, okay, Aether Flare, that's fine. So red, it's a 1 for 3, not the best, but whatever. And there was one other Emperor at the shop, and he seen me play, and I thought nothing of it, but he actually seen the power of this card. We found out that in your AB2 or less matchups, especially your AB0 matchups, Jesus Christ, this card's juice, you actually have the ability to combo off on your own turn by going things like Aether Flare, Hold Priority, Storm Striders. Aether Flare, Metacarpus no trigger on the Sag, Hold Priority, Storm Striders, into Flameskull Furnace, let the Storm Striders resolve, pay into the node, Aether Flare hits, then you play your Strider spell, and then you can Waning Moon depending on how much mana you have left. It's just absolutely juiced. Like we've had 13 plus damage turns just on our own turn. It's crazy. Aether Quicken is just a 1 for 4. This is also really, really insane on your Aether Flare turns. This is probably the best card to get off of Aether Flare because as long as this is buffed, this buffs this. As long as this does 5 or more, you get go again. So you can just have some, crazy freaking turns with Aether Quicken. Blaze Headlong, just a neat 0 for 4, especially on your tome turns. This card's insane. If you have a Nimblism, obviously it becomes a 0 for 7. Any of your other 0 for 4s, this is a great follow-up. Another like really sneaky thing that I did, obviously this is not like rocket science, but sending Blaze Headlong for 4, and then going Sigil in Resolution Step to give this go again now. You can kind of okie doke your opponent because they may not be prepared. Because one or two things are going to happen, especially if it's like turn 1. They're going to double block this to try to filter. Now they have an inefficient block. And now you have the chance to like swing arcane damage spell, or like maybe like an E-strike for like 7. Like you can do something very powerful there. But again, it's a breakpoint. That's all this deck is just breakpoints and awkwardness. Like at no point should our opponent ever feel safe about making any decisions that they're doing. So obviously Blaze Headlong, absolutely insane. The only downside is the 2 block, but this deck still, funny enough, blocks pretty well, even though it has some 2 blocks, which is like really weird to say because of its equipment, and then obviously the amount of 3 blocks. One quick motion is just here for a 0-4. We will never, and the rock means ever, use these cards. The only time I can say is if we are getting a life, and it puts us out of a range that still is not beneficial for our opponent. Like it doesn't take them out of combo range, but maybe puts us into a range where we don't lose or we don't have to block in a certain way. But obviously, it's mostly here just to be a 0 for 4. 2 Command and Conquers off of a Tome turn. This is essentially just free. You can literally play Tome, do nothing else, and CNC. So you can literally just have a 1-card CNC and Emperor, which is insane. And if it strips 2 cards, your opponent's in a very tough position, because if they ever want to have offense against you, they probably have to tap out. Oh, pretty good there. Merit Scolding, probably the best card in the deck on your opponent's turn. It's just 6 damage. Our highest damage spell can become 7 if we have a node, which means our combo turn can be 10 if we are running Metacarpus node. And Line Strike, it's go again, it's a draw card, it's a 7. I don't know what else you would want from this card. This card's insane. Obviously, Fate Foreseen, we are running 4 D-Reacts here. And Fate Foreseen just allowing you to opt is pretty powerful. Especially whenever your opponent's getting close to lethal and you want to make sure you find your Merit Scoldings, your Voltage Butcher, your Soul Tidings, just so you can have that 5 or 6 power arcane damage spell. Nimblism and Nimblism Strike is a combo I do like. I play this over the Flame Call Awakening engine that some people will play, just because I don't want to have Phoenix Flame in my deck. That's literally the exact only reason why, I'm going to be honest with you. Even though I do recognize the upside to that. I just like the potential to have a 1 for 5 in my deck and be able to do other stuff. And like the really insane part is like obviously we play Nimblism, it goes to the graveyard, then we just play Nimblism Strike. Like, and then if we have just at least 1 more card in hand, if we just have 1 more card in hand, we can then pitch to Waning Moon and then become Waning Moon because we played a Nimblism. So it just becomes like just a 10 damage turn because this is like 3 plus 5, it's 8. Waning Moon 10, yeah, this becomes a 10 damage turn, and especially if your opponent has no AB. You know you're going to do 2 damage, and then the awkwardness of the 8 most likely will also strip cards from their hand, and they're probably going to have to block it very inefficiently. Round of Trouble, 0 for 4, literally every single time will never not be a 0 for 4. Pretty standard there. Reverberate's another card I am personally playing, because at the time, I didn't think that a lot of people would be prepared for the Emperor. Emperor was like the worst kept secret I've ever seen, ever since like Lexi, it's like the worst kept secret. But obviously in your matchups where they don't have natural AB3, this hitting and turning on every other spell, so you can actually be very aggressive. So you can go like Reverberate into Aether Quickening, Reverberate into Scalding Rain, Reverberate even into like some of your 2-cost spells if you just have a surplus of mana. Obviously on a Tome turn, this is pretty good because you can go Reverberate 1 floating, Flame Scale 2 floating, or you and then you could play like a 2-cost spell, right? But if you can like banish a 0-cost spell, you can even fit a Waning Moon, which is pretty sick. Scalding Range is so worse. 8th Quicken, it just doesn't have text, but it's a 1 for 4. Arcane damage spell, which even against JB3 will always leak a damage, which leaking damage every single turn is very important. Scarf Scar is 0 for 4, Breakpoint, go again, not more. You can ask on a card. Sigil of Solace is obviously very, very nice. Obviously, a lot of people are getting hip to how much Sigil is in the format, so the Azuri, I didn't actually play against the Azuri today, but there was Azuri running Poison the Well, and they just talked about how much healing is in the format, especially with decks like Yoji running around. So do have to be a little bit careful playing this, because more people going forward might be hip to the tech of Poison the Well. But at least for this weekend, it was obviously a very, very positive card for me. Running Sink Below, obviously Sink Below just being a 0-4 direct, kind of like again what we talked about with Fate, just allows us to cycle through our deck and obviously stop breakpoints, especially in the mirror. This card is amazing because a lot of the attacks are 4 damage, and if you can just give one card and block it out, it's super powerful. Small Tidings being your 2 for 5. This is guaranteed 2 damage no matter what, because most people are only running maybe 3 at max. So saying for 2 mana you'll deal 2 damage to your opponent is obviously really good. And if they don't have AB3 and God forbid they have AB0, bless their heart. Bless their heart, that's all I can say. There actually was an instance when I was practicing. This was a very, very interesting line that I've personally never seen. Well, this was in my graveyard and I had a 4-card hand, so I sent the Spell Tidings for 4. Sorry, for 2. Had 2 other cards in hand. Metacarpus Node triggered. I paid for the trigger, so then I had 1 card left in hand. And then I go pitch the Flame Scale, make 4 Storm Striders. And then I played another one. I played one from hand. Yeah, I'm be real with you, Chief. It's pretty cooked. This card's pretty cooked. Oh, and yeah, and made a Ponder off of it, which is like insane. Tome, oh my gosh. So what is this card? This is a free Waning Moon. This could possibly be 8 damage because you draw 2 0 for 4s. This could literally just be a CNC on a 1-card hand. That comes from your deck. You don't have to have the CNC in hand. You can literally just play Tome, activate Furnace, go to 3, CNC. That's it. Nothing else to it. This card's insane. The only downside doesn't block, but dear God if it blocked. Voltic just another 2 for 5. Nothing more to say there. Wounding Blow, kind of just a signature thing of this deck of just being a 0 for 4. Always winning attack for breakpoints, make things awkward for our opponent. And in the sideboard, we only had a few different things here. We obviously had Brush Off and Oasis Respite as defensive options into things like the Mirror and things into hyper-aggressive or mid-range aggro that are also going to be running AB. We want to be able to have more defensive options and set up powerful turns, and we need the life to do that. So this is insane. Obviously, Oasis Respite is actually what won me my mirror match in the finals, because the moment I had an Oasis, I just sat on it and put my opponent into check, where they had to go off, or they were just probably just going to auto lose due to being walked down and attritioned out. And luckily for me, I had no Oasis Respite and Arsenal, and they got their common turn stuff, and I proceeded to win from there. And obviously Skullcat being a 2-block. The AB3 is like almost relevant. The keyword's almost relevant. I think obviously you're playing this more for just the 2 separate blocks, which came in clutch for me when I faced Adadadal in the semifinals. Just being able to get 3 block out of this on 1 turn was just absolutely cracked. And I was exactly at 1, and if I would have had Crown Province, I would have lost that game. Jubilee, I really thought, and I mean really thought I was going to play this weekend. But there was just no matchup where I was presented, even in testing, where I just wanted this. I tried this into the mirror match, and it felt so god-awful. The issue with Jubilee is you just need to build your deck different, even if you're going to have Jubilee in the sideboard. And I just don't think the deck building cost is the payoff is just not good enough for me to want to do something like that. So, Jubilee at no point has ever came in. This is the last of the Metacarpus Node, a card that I thought was absolutely bad in the Emperor. Mostly when I just didn't understand him, because I was like, well, I don't know how you're ever paying for this. And then I actually started playing the Emperor and started paying for it. And it was absolutely cooked. It absolutely put in work. And what it secretly does, it just changes your 8s to 9s, your 9s to 10s. So it could give you a breakpoint in a turn earlier. And because you're only sending breakpoints ever, being able to reach one higher number because you're coming for 4 instead of 3 could actually win you a game by secret, and you not really know that you sending a 0 for 4 every single turn is actually winning you the game. It's really hard to just tell the value of these 0 cost damage spells. So obviously Metacarpus Node, big overperformance this weekend. Well guys, I know this video is short, but obviously it is Blitz, and it's just the Emperor. I do think for the most part the lists are standardized. The only tech options I had are Aether Flare and Reverberate, because specifically I didn't think people would be prepared, and if they were, especially into the mirror, I thought I could break the mirror, which obviously I won my mirror match in the finals and went undefeated in my skirmish with the Emperor. Obviously going forward, I won't be playing much Blitz, but if I am, I'll probably be playing the Emperor. Maybe some Dowdle too. Dowdle is absolutely juiced. But guys, again, knows a short video. But if you guys did select this video, make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment down below what you guys want to see next. It's been your boy Cypher from Cypher TCG. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.